I guess if you weren't talking to the daughter, I guess. So.
What's up, you beauties? Welcome to High and Wide Radio, episode 33 of season 5. My name is Jim Iacovone, and I'm joined by the one and only Jack Smith and boy wonder Travis Ballinghoff. If you're not listening live, please make sure to subscribe, follow, and listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. And if you are watching live, be sure to say hello in the comments. And if you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, be sure to do so. If you want to check out our site and maybe buy some merch while you listen to our show, you can head on over to hwhockey.net or find all of our social media links in one place over at hoo.be/HW Hockey. All right, Trav Jack will be joined by Colin Newby in about a half an hour here. Talk some Flyers. Colin's a good friend of the show. We're big fans of Colin Newby and what he does over at the Hockey Writers.
Hell yeah.
It's been somewhat of a slow week for the Flyers. Obviously, last week we touched on they were selected to play in another outdoor game against the New Jersey Devils. We have a date. Trav, do you remember the date?
Saturday, February 17th.
Yep, and we'll be there. I already got no, we didn't get tickets yet, but we will. Time yet to be determined, but it has been determined that the game will be at night. So it'll be a Saturday night up in the swamps of North Jersey. Where exactly is MetLife Stadium? Do you guys know?
I've been there.
I've drove past it a couple of times, never went inside.
I went to an Eminem concert there in like 2015 or
It's not in East Rutherford, is it?
I don't remember.
All right.
That sounds right from playing Madden, but I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Well, that's one thing. That's cool. The other thing, Flyers related, they made some changes in the hockey operations department. While I pull this up, do you guys have the names off the top of your head?
Gonna throw us under the bus like that?
Yeah, jeez.
Well, I guess it is my job to have that prepared now, isn't it? So the Flyers did make some changes. I think most notable name let go was Mr. Shel Samuelson, former Flyer. He's been with the organization forever. His daughter Allie also works with the organization as part of the PR staff. They've promoted a couple guys, Riley Armstrong being one, Alan McCauley the other, who has been talked about as Briere's sort of right-hand man. I want to know if you guys have any thoughts on some of the moves here, if you're kind of indifferent, or it's more so just, all right, good, turnover. This was the department that sort of needed some turnover. Jack, what are your thoughts?
I mean, this department needed some turnover. I mean, that is for sure. I'm not saying that nothing came out of player development and whatnot, but the organization as a whole from top to bottom needs changes. It doesn't matter who you are, where you came from. We need changes. It's been a colossal failure for too long. I also like that Briere has just stepped in and been like, I want my guys there. Whatever was here before doesn't work. I'm going to put you here, you here. This is how we're going to do it. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it my way, guys. I like that. You're really gonna you're not gonna just status quo it. Like, we're changing things up. We're gonna go, we need to do things clearly. So yeah, I was happy to see it. It was coming. Oh my God.
You were skipping around. I wasn't sure if you were done, so I didn't want to say anything.
I'll hop in a little bit. I was glad to see turnover. I don't really know too many of these guys and what they specifically do, but we had a top 3 to 5 consensus prospect pool in the league for a handful of years in a row, and we didn't get a ton out of it besides Konechny and 2 good years of Ivan Provorov. I actually think the Flyers drafted well for a while, and then they just didn't develop the players properly. That's what I think about the situation. So I was glad to see changes there. I've never met Riley Armstrong, but he's a really good men's league player. He played on Danny Briere's team. I saw him in a tournament last summer. Very skilled.
Here comes the new narrative. Oh, he's hiring all of his friends. There's always a connection. God forbid he played in a men's league. How's he qualified to to coach the Flyers? Here we go.
You should start that. But yeah, as far as everyone else goes, I don't really know specifically too much about everybody. Adam McCauley, we've heard his name a lot about the last 12 months or so, but all in all, glad to see some change. I think it was needed.
Yeah, and I would agree. Without knowing the intricacies of what some of these guys do on a day-to-day basis, just from the entire body of work throughout the last decade or so, I think it was time for some changes to be made. And I did leave somebody out here. So Nick Schultz was also promoted to the assistant director of player development. Alan McCauley will be the assistant GM. Riley Armstrong to director of player development. So there you go. Let's see.
Good for Nick Schultz. He's a good dude.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see what happens. Good. It's good to have some of these younger guys in there because people love the younger guys. So right, like God forbid, like you played in the NHL before and you're old, right? You don't know anything. But I digress. So yeah, some changes there. Let me see what else we got here. Stanley Cup, 1-0 Vegas. You guys watch the game?
Great game.
Very entertaining.
Horrible.
Jack, I feel like you said horrible and froze.
All I said was 2 words. Horrible ending.
Horrible what?
Ending.
Oh.
As in Vegas won. How could it be
Right. 3 games away from being the fastest expansion team to win a cup. Yeah, I watched pretty much the whole game. Florida got on the board first, didn't they? I think they took a 1-0 lead. And
Eric Stahl?
Oh, yeah, Eric Stahl shorthanded. Yep.
How about that? Turning back the clock a little bit. Sometimes I forget that he plays for the Panthers. But it was cool to see that. I wanted the Flyers to snag him a bunch of years back when they were still somewhat good. But
I always compared Nolan Patrick to I thought he was going to be like what Eric Stahl was in his prime. That was my comparable. Didn't happen.
Well, he's 3 games away from having the same amount of cups as Eric Stahl.
Not wrong.
That's pretty wild, isn't it? Yeah, who would have ever thought that? But I'm looking forward to this entire series. It's almost a shame that we're recording. I would rather be talking to you guys, obviously, than watching the Stanley Cup. But I'm looking forward to the series. I know it's 2 out-of-market teams with Florida and Vegas, but I'm not going to lie. It kind of makes me want to watch it a little bit more than I used to. Like when the Pittsburgh Penguins were in the Stanley Cup back-to-back, I didn't watch the Stanley Cup. I didn't care to watch it. Not going to watch Pittsburgh in the Stanley Cup. It didn't matter who they played. When the Lightning were in the Cup, I would watch here and there. You knew the Lightning were good, but who did they win in the Cups against? The Stars. Like I never watched the Stars. And who did they win the second one against? Was it Montreal?
Montreal. Yep.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, that was like David Goliath, right? Montreal had a hell of a run, but that was far from an entertaining Stanley Cup. The cup that Colorado won over at Tampa Bay was probably one of the most exciting Stanley Cups that I've seen in a long time. This one is just grabbing me because it's Florida Vegas. Florida's got a really fun team. It's a team loaded with shit talkers and skill, right? And then you have Vegas is just the ultimate pro team. Like they got a bunch of tree trunks on defense. Everybody's 6'2" or taller, 215 pounds or more. And game 1 was just a great game. I think Florida started out strong, and Vegas kind of took it to them in periods 2 and 3. They weren't really getting sucked into any of the after the whistle stuff. And we'll see how it goes tonight. Trav, you were able to watch game 1?
Yeah, I mean, kind of to touch on where you finished off, that 4th goal by Vegas, the Mark Stone goal, where he intercepts that puck, that's like typical Mark Stone. Like the great defensive wizard intercepting a puck and sniping one glove side. Yeah,
who turned really that one over too? Matty Tkachuk turned that one over uncharacteristically. But what was he doing there? Mark Stone was sitting there waiting for it. I bet you he was just as surprised as everybody else.
maybe confidence got a little too high for Matthew Tkachuk. He's kind of like the face of the league right now, and thinks he can't make any mistakes. He's untouchable. I don't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't make that play very often. Good play by Stone. Both goalies were on. Like, I thought that game was going to go to overtime for sure. Bobrovsky looked great. Aiden Hill looked great. How many goalies have they had all season? Like, what he's doing is fantastic.
Speaking of Aiden Hill, legitimately save of the year on our buddy Nick Cousins. Yeah. So outstanding. Jack, were you able to watch any of that game?
I saw some of it. I followed along on my phone mostly. Speaking of saves, Aiden Hill's had some serious saves this entire playoffs. Was not surprised. Well, it's always surprising, but it's to see his name again. I'm just like, he's really going to ruin things for me. I had Florida in 4. Now we're 5.
Wow.
Oh, that's right. Jack did pick the sweep purely out of hate for Vegas.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I'm not giving up. I'm not worried. I'm more worried about my internet connection than I am.
Well, we got a pretty good run of about 30 seconds right now, so we're good. All right, so let's touch on some conversation from around the league real quick. The Penguins made a move. They hired former Maple Leafs general manager Kyle Dubas to a 7-year deal. When you guys hear that the Penguins have hired Kyle Dubas, what kind of thoughts and emotions do you have and feel? Jack, what does that do for you?
It annoys me. I loved it when they hired Hextall. I was like, wow, they really lost their way. This is them finding their way again a little bit. Yeah, I still think there's potential for things to go. Also, he brought on GM, so I'm curious I'm sure he can still make the moves and all. I'm just curious how that's going to go. But yeah, at the end of the day, he's a smart guy. He's definitely taking a peg down or two with how things turned out in Toronto. But I know there's a lot of people in Flyerland who would have loved to him somehow made his way here. So curious how that works out. I feel like at the end, a good move.
You have similar thoughts and feelings, Trav?
Kind of. I didn't think he was a very good general manager with the Toronto Maple Leafs. You look at the trades he made, you look at some of the signings. Obviously, no GM is going to ever bat 1,000, but I think he was maybe under the Mendoza line. I really wasn't impressed. But that being said, you hear about different things behind the scenes, and I could see this kind of be like a Dave Haxtell situation in the sense of Haxtell was not a good coach here. Kind of took a step back, looked himself in the mirror, maybe learned from some past mistakes, and then I don't know how much credit he deserves in Seattle, but he definitely deserves some. I could see a similar situation happening with Dubas where just take a step back, even though he really didn't take a step back. He said he was going to if he didn't stay in Toronto. He kind of lied.
Big lie.
That's a different conversation.
I got that 7-year deal saying shit like that.
Yep. But you know what? Maybe he just kind of looks himself in the mirror, thinks what he did wrong, what he can do differently, and maybe he can become a good GM. That really wouldn't shock me at all if that is what happens.
There's a part of me that I really have no idea. I'm just speculating. When I think of a team like Toronto and how popular they are and how their fan base is, I just can't help but think there's Shanahan or somebody else may have had a hand in things and how some of his deals went down. It's really hard to believe that it's just this massive team and asset is just Dubas's to run. So I feel like in Pittsburgh, he could really have his hands on the wheel, especially what we heard Hextall got away with some of the crap he was saying. So if a guy who actually knows what he's doing in art and somewhat new age, I can see him turning things around. It's just a weird time for him to take over the team with Crosby and Malkin being so old, but still, at the end of the day, 7 years, they're committed. I feel like it will wind up being a good move.
That's true. And a 7-year deal kind of shows, what their plan is, right? Because let's face it, the next 2 or 3, the team almost is what it is. He's going to be it's not, I don't even know if it's going to be him so much building, but the Penguins still have Crosby, Malkin, Letang. Those guys aren't going through a rebuild. So the next, probably, I would say, I don't know, Crosby's 35, right? 35-ish. If he's around for 3 more years, they're going to be going for it for 3 more years. After the 3 years are up, Dubas has got 4 years left. I don't know. We'll see how fast they can turn things around. I would assume they're going to be drafting.
One
Go ahead,
thing I
Trav.
kind of find interesting about this whole situation is Fenway Sports owns the Penguins now.
Yeah.
They also own the Boston Red Sox and Liverpool, I believe, the soccer team.
Mhm.
Jeff Merrick has mentioned multiple times now where I think he might be, hinting at something, that he wonders if he goes and works for the Boston Red Sox. And Dubas has this conception about him that he's not a hockey guy and he's just a math guy and he's a nerd. Well, I feel like if you go and work for a baseball team, you leave hockey and go work for a baseball team, there's some serious merit to that.
Huh. That's interesting. I never really put that together, but I had heard him say that, like similar things multiple times, and I'm like, so what if he's working for the same group? Yeah, they own multiple teams, but what are you getting at here? Do you think that's what he's getting at, or is he kind of hinted at like that could actually be a thing?
Yeah, I think Merrick knows something because he continues to mention it over and over, but he won't like elaborate on it. He just kind of like drops a little sprinkle here, and then 2 days later he does it again. It's like something's going on here, but I'd like to know more. But yeah, I mean, if that would just kind of go into the conception about him that he's not actually a hockey guy. He's just a math guy that knows numbers and he can switch from sport to sport.
And I think if you're a general manager of a team, that you need to be able to evaluate talent too. No, that's interesting. I'll be interested to see how that unfolds if that really does end up being the case there. But yeah, I don't know. I would like it not to work out for Pitt. So in a way, I let my my emotions kind of get in the way a little bit. I'm like, okay, cool. You just hired Kyle Dubas, didn't do dick in Toronto. They won the same amount of playoff series as the Flyers did while Chuck Fletcher was here. This is the guy that traded 2 first-round picks for Nick Foligno. Congratulations, you signed him for 7 years. On the other hand, you guys made good points. Maybe his second team he'll learn and yada yada. Personally, I don't think he took enough time off.
Yeah, I agree.
I watched. If you watched his press conference, unless he's a really good actor, that guy looked burnt out,
exhausted,
like mentally done. Yeah. And, being in a market like Toronto and having that kind of pressure, I think would do that to you. But he brought up his family during the interview and how, he's got to figure some things out with them. And it sounded like this is a guy that's stressed out to the max, probably an asshole, or he's just not around the family at all. Or if he is around the family, he's working kind of thing. I was surprised to see him sign on with Pittsburgh. Maybe the president of hockey ops is a little bit less hands-on. I don't know, but he definitely lied. But hey, if the money's right, and the contract is out there, congratulations, Pitt. You hired a liar. I hope he fails. No, I mean, yeah, I really do hope he sucks, but yeah, you guys made good points on.
I made a meme. I think you saw it about him lying, and I put a little Mari meme in there.
Yeah, I did see that.
50,000 on TikTok blew up.
Yeah, good for you. You should have.
And I'll add this. Played a little pickup hockey last night and played with 2 Penguins fans.
Boo.
Talked to them about it. The one Penguins fan had no idea who Kyle Dubas was.
Typical.
Shocker.
And the other one is 100% on board for the simple fact that he can't be worse than Hextall. And both of the Penguins fans think Carter Hart sucks.
Of course they do.
That's what we were saying when we got rid of Hextall. Well, it can't get much worse, can it?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And they don't really watch. Gotcha.
Yes, and the one Penguins fan that thinks, or the one Penguins fan who doesn't know who Kyle Dubas is, said Provorov was our best player this past season.
Wow.
Okay.
Very interesting takes.
I like that Jack just laughs.
That's Penguins fan.
I just love to hearing stories from people who say they're fans of teams and don't actually pay attention. It's fun.
All right. So let's transition here to another team in the Metro. The Columbus Blue Jackets are set to hire former Toronto Maple Leafs head coach, still employed by the Maple Leafs. I think I saw or heard till July 1st when this move will become official. Mike Babcock will be the new head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Trav, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm very surprised, to be honest with you. I didn't think he was going to ever get a chance to coach again. Dang, my stream went out. I was trying to get the stream of the game on. Yeah, I was surprised that he got another chance. And I mean, I'm seeing a lot of jokes about there, like poor Johnny Gaudreau. Well, Johnny Gaudreau's not poor. He's got a lot of money to his name. He'll be quite okay. But from a hockey perspective, I mean, we kind of saw the dynamic between Line A and Torts in Columbus. I can't see it going too well over there with Babcock and Line A. And then we've heard for months now that Columbus is kind of like the hot spot for the Kevin Hayes rumors. Can't really see that working out either. And it sounded like maybe they had a deal in the works there, Flyers in Columbus, and they were just kind of wait till the draft to do it. They didn't want to do it at the deadline. Well, Chuck Fletcher, the guy who presumably made that deal, or lack thereof, whatever you want to call it, well, he's not here anymore. So Danny Briere could just be like, well, I could call up Boston and I could call up Dallas or some other team and I could get something different. So it is very interesting now. Now, Kevin Hayes, I should have looked this up ahead of time. I forget the no move status on the contract currently. Is it up now? Like, does he have any more say in that? If he doesn't, I mean, they could just send him to Babcock Island and he can't do anything about it. I'll search that up.
For some reason, I think he does. Some reason I think he does have say. But yeah, on Babcock, I brought him up last week. I really didn't think, like Travis said, he's surprised. I was surprised. Columbus is not a team I thought he was going to sign with. It just felt like his name was up there with Laviolette's because they were trying to get serious. But Babcock's been out for so long, and his run with Toronto was pretty shitty that I was really surprised that he got signed this quickly with a team like Columbus, who has a GM like Kekalainen. That was probably one of the most surprising coaching hires. So that was impressive. I did not see that one coming.
I'll jump in real quick. He has a 12-team no trade, so he does have some say. And also, I don't know if anyone's checking up on the Phillies, but I'm watching history right now, and I'll leave it at that.
You said something, so I pulled it up, and it says like something sometimes, and it was blue. I've never seen it blue, and I read it says no hitter. I was like, oh my god!
Well, he jinxed it. There we go. He said it.
We're not watching the game. You can't say it when you're watching the game. It's on
I got it on. I'm watching.
I was going to say it anyway, just to jinx it. So.
Yeah, now when he doesn't perform the inevitable.
What inning is it?
Bottom 6. He just got through the 6th.
Wasn't it last week the Andre Scalaraga anniversary of the 28 out perfect game?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Remember Andre Scalaraga was it Andres? Who was the one that played for he pitched for the Detroit Tigers? Remember when the ump called him safe for the final out of the game and he was way out?
Yeah, that wasn't his name, was it?
He had a weird name like that. I don't remember.
Something Galarraga. I think Andre Scalaraga was that monster for the Rockies back in the day.
He called him safe when he was clearly out and it blew.
Yeah. That was funny. I mean, it sucked, but it was funny. Okay. Anyway, all right. So yeah, Columbus hires Babcock. I was wondering, like, what Hayes would do. Like, does he put Columbus on the list now? Because it didn't seem like he liked playing for Tortorella. I would say Babcock and Torts are in the same sort of category when it comes to style of coaching. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I mean, what do you want more? Do you want to play with Gaudreau or do you not want to play for Babcock? And obviously this is all speculation because we don't know if Hayes has a problem with Babcock or not. but interesting stuff. Yeah. Do the Flyers pivot to another team? I think there was an article out earlier. I think Mark Ramos, actually. I had to call him by his full name. I don't know why I did that.
Marky Mark.
Marky Mark shared a link from earlier today. If I could just look it up in our Slack.
Was it Frank? Little Frankie
Yeah.
bomb?
The Stars, Wild, Red Wings, and Blue Jackets have kicked the tires on Kevin Hayes. And, I didn't really consider the Red Wings. The Stars I could see, they're boring. They're big body play. They're just so boring to watch. Wild, I didn't really see that. They are going to have some cap space to bring in a guy or two. And obviously the Blue Jackets. So
Danny should get creative and like take on Tyler Seguin's contract, and maybe they give us a bunch of draft picks and we give them Kevin Hayes in the process.
Whatever. Yeah, do it. I actually like Tyler Seguin, so I don't care.
So do I. But I don't have any inside knowledge on this, but you got to think that if Bergeron and or Krejci retires, Boston's right up in there.
I've been saying that all season. All season long. I'm like, why wouldn't it makes too much sense for Hayes to go home? He's back up there with family. I think his brother's family lives up there still. I mean, let's not forget, we're only about just a year over removed from when his brother passed away. We're coming up on it's been over a year, right? It was last summer when that happened. So,
right.
It makes too much sense. Boston's going to need center depth down the middle. Bergeron likely retiring. Krejci, I would assume, is done. There's spots there for Hayes. And even if the Flyers retain like $2 million, you're getting Kevin Hayes for $5 million, play your second line, and it makes sense. So
Finally found a stream again.
There you go.
0-0, 5 minutes in.
There you go. One more thing I wanted to bring up. So John Gibson, Jack, I think this is relevant to you because I believe he is on your fantasy team.
Oh, it is.
Once again requested to be traded from the Anaheim Ducks, said he no longer feels like he wants to play for them. And so he asked the team to seek a trade for him. Any teams come to mind right off the bat that could potentially be in on John Gibson, Jack?
You mean besides Toronto?
Yeah.
I don't know how they pull off now. Maybe they do. Who knows? I heard Pittsburgh for some reason. I worked with a guy who's a Pittsburgh fan, but he's pretty tuned in. I'll give him some credit. He knows his stuff. And through his channels, he heard there was a chance that they could be interested if they're going to keep pushing with Crosby and whatnot, because he said how bad the Smith and Jarry were. He said we cannot rely on them, and we just need a new answer there. I haven't heard anything outside of that. So off the top of my head, what team can't use a goalie, really?
That's true, and that would be interesting. He's a Pittsburgh guy, right, Gibson? Jarry's contract is up right now. This is his last year of his contract. He's 28 years old. The only other goalie they have under contract is Casey DeSmith, who's signed this year for $1.8 million. So I would imagine if I'm going to put money on where John Gibson ends up, I would put it all on Pittsburgh, Jack. I think that's a very good guesstimation right there.
Very good, because that's all I got.
All right. I think that was there one more thing?
I'll hop in.
Yeah,
I think this is going to be like an insane offseason for goaltending. There's a lot of teams out there that want to make a move for a goalie. You look at the Kings and you look at the Jets and Hellebuck. We just mentioned Pitt. We just mentioned Toronto. The Gibson thing's interesting. I look at Demko. We've heard rumors about Carter Hart. You'd imagine that the Oilers are going to try to get out of that Jack Campbell deal. So I think there's going to be a lot of movement out there. And Jarry's contract's up, so
it's going to be fun.
Sorry, apparently I did not send the link. I sent Colin, hey, I'm going to send you the link, and just never sent the link. So there we go. Let me apologize. Sorry, buddy. There's the link. All right. Colin will be joining us in just a couple minutes whenever he receives the link. Is anybody else getting that feedback there?
Yeah, it's really bad. I think it's Jack because I muted him and it went away.
Whoops.
Can I unmute? What did I do?
Yes. There's like Some feedback coming in.
Still?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we got to compliment James on the new background. I see Claude Giroux over his right shoulder.
Oh, yeah,
I
you
know
see
he's
that?
a big Claude Giroux fan. He is.
And big Van Riemsdyk fan, apparently. So all these I got.
Looks good. I like it.
I got these about, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago when I had money to spend on this sort of thing. I have I think that's Ian LePerriere up there, all autographed, by the way. Lappy up there in the corner, and you got Van Riemsdyk across from him. That was his first ever NHL goal against the Florida Panthers, signed. And then you got G over there. And at the bottom right, you got Rick Tocchet, signed. And over here is Bernie Parent from the outdoor game. Remember when they did the the alumni, and he came out and made one save and skated off. Yeah, that was Bernie. And autographed. So pretty cool.
You feeling the burn?
Yeah, always. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, our guest is here, boys. So let's bring him in. What's up, Kyle?
Colin.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, Colin Newby of the Hockey Writers and 97.5 has joined the show. Kyle, how's your summer or how's your off season been, man?
Always muted.
Oh, you're muted, Kyle. There we go. You're good.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. So your off season, how's it? You're a busy guy this year so far.
Yeah. I mean, ever since the Flyers season ended, I haven't had many days off from work anyway. So, off season is a term that I take lightly.
I was seeing you were down the shore. What was it, last weekend, Memorial Day weekend, and then just put out a pretty big article the other day. You want to repeat that out so people go check it out real quick?
Absolutely. We had Keith Jones in studio at 97.5 The Fanatic on with Anthony Gargano. And I typed up mostly quotes that Keith Jones had on the air with The Fanatic, but it's 7 takeaways. So basically what it is a long quote and then an explanation of what it means in the context of the rebuild and just what's happening with the front office restructuring.
Yeah, it's a very good article. Make sure you guys go check it out. Kyle, let me ask you now. Haven't talked to you in, I think, a couple months. We haven't had a good conversation. Lots going on with the Flyers. Obviously, Briere is the new general manager. We all saw that coming. What we didn't see coming was Keith Jones being named the new president of Hockey Ops. What are your thoughts and opinions on the two new changes?
Well, I like the sense of a new optimism, a new era, and I think you could throw Dan Hilferty in there as well, taking over for Dave Scott. I think really highly of Dan Hilferty even before his time with the Flyers, just as a local businessman. He's a really good reputation in this area. And then to hire Jones and Briere, they're two guys that I think pretty highly of as players. And then Briere in his first steps in the front office, and Jones, of course, on TV for so long. I do have my concerns. I am in a little bit of that camp, at least, that's worried about the former Flyer thing. I see both sides of the fence, but I can't get over the fact that an organization that's been struggling for so long didn't really go outside its own building to make 2 major hires. And I kind of wish that they had done that with the president position. If they were going to promote Danny Briere, which seemed like kind of a given, just with the way he was rising through the organization, I would have liked them to go outside and get a president with a lot more experience that Briere could kind of learn under. And it's nothing against Keith Jones. As I said, I have a lot of respect for him. But I didn't love the fit there, even though I do like Keith Jones, the person.
Okay. And, well, so you're a pretty logical guy, so I didn't want to phrase the question like I was thinking. So there are a lot of people out there who, you know, if there's anybody associated with the Flyers in any way, they're like, oh, no, you can't hire this guy. I don't get the sense that you're necessarily in that camp, but can you explain a little bit more, like, so what kind of candidates did you have in your mind that who you maybe would have preferred for them to at least interview or potentially bring in?
The big one at the time I was thinking of was Brad Treliving, right after he left Calgary. He was rumored from a couple of sources. Off the top of my head, I think it was Anthony DeMarco of the fourth period had Treliving kind of in the mix for the Flyers position. That's the one I wanted. And I think they could have drawn from a big pool. It seemed like there was a lot of interest, all the talk about the Flyers history, the Flyers brand, how much weight that carries. I got the sense that there was a lot of interested candidates in the high profile guys like Treliving that they possibly could have tracked down there.
And Treliving was just hired by Toronto, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been a good name. I saw a couple people on Twitter mention Treliving while the Flyers were still looking for their president of hockey ops. But yeah, certainly the Flyers, they went with the personality, and I think we've all come in contact with Keith Jones in some way or another. I mean, you're not going to meet a more nicer guy, more down to earth. He knows everybody. Even if he doesn't know you, he makes it look like he does. He just makes you feel welcomed. So it was, interesting hire to say the least. You can be happy for the man while also still question, hey, was he the right guy for the position? So interesting stuff there. Kyle, I wanted to ask you, so one of the things I wanted to kind of discuss a little bit tonight, because we had some interesting conversations throughout the season this year. And one of the points that you made that I really liked it. I didn't necessarily agree, but I really liked your perspective on this topic. And we talked about the Flyers culture a lot throughout the course of the season. And, you had made a point where I was like, oh, you know what? Colin's actually right there. So this season was supposed to be all about culture change. Tortorella's coming in. He's going to change the culture. That's all we heard. Culture, culture, culture. And you had made a point. Well, all we hear about is culture change, but Flyers only finished 2 spots better than they did last year in the standings, right? So I think we had a conversation where you were like, what's really changed? Like you can't really see culture. Like you can change culture. You can change culture with high-end skills. I think the point that you made, right? There are multiple ways to change culture. So if you can recall these conversations, I do want to kind of hear a little bit more about your perspective on the show.
Yeah, sure. I remember it. I think it was a game late in the season when things were kind of winding down. But you just said it. All we heard was culture, culture, culture. That's how I felt. And it's such a subjective word that gets thrown around. I mean, I do think they took steps under John Tortorella. Certain things improved, but I just don't know if it's something to hang your hat on. And I think with the way it was emphasized so much, they were a little too proud of that when the objective results were what you just said, the 5th worst team to the 7th worst team, or was it the 4th? But regardless, you get the point. You're at the bottom and only made a very insignificant increase. I like what John Tortorella's done. Is that my computer, that sound coming up?
No.
No, okay.
What was I saying? I like what John Tortorella's done. I think the defensive structure, especially last year, was much better. They were just kind of running all over the place with Mike Yeo and playing out the string there. Last year wasn't really like that, but I did hear Keith Jones say something that was kind of concerning to me last week, and it kind of underlies what you're talking about, Jim. He said the season with Mike Yeo, where Alain Vigneault got fired and Yeo took over for the remainder of the season, the team would get down 3-0, and then they would never come back. They would keep letting it get worse, and then they get blown out. And Jones really should have chose his words more carefully here. He said, last year we would get down 3-0, but we would come back. We would make it 3-2, and you would lose in overtime. Well, that doesn't do anything for me. They still lost. While I know what he meant, you're working hard, you're pushing the envelope against teams that are more talented. He said we lost by a lot last year and we only lost by a little this year. So I just want them to aim so much higher than they're aiming, because I think the gap between them and the teams in the Stanley Cup playoffs is just too big right now.
I do recall him saying that. Sorry, Trav, go ahead.
I actually never thought about that, but it's a really good point.
Yeah. And listening to that interview, because I remember that was on what was that on 32 Thoughts? It was on one of those shows, and I recall
he's really made the rounds. So
he's been on everything.
Yeah.
Everything except our show, Joe.
I got a question for you, Colin. So
yeah.
They've pretty much come out and said, we're not going to tear this thing completely down. We're not going to do what the Blackhawks did. Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think they should do that? Or do you think they should trade off Hart and Konechny and all these valuable veterans they have?
Well, Briere said that thing about the fire sale the first day he got hired, or the first introductory press conference. He also said on Friday, he was a guest on 97.5 The Fanatic too. He said that he doesn't believe in tanking. And he didn't come out and say this part of it, but I kind of inferred it. He played for the Buffalo Sabres for longer than he played for the Flyers. And I think one of the phrases he used was, you can set yourself deeper. And he said 10 to 12 years of bad hockey. Well, that's exactly what's happened in Buffalo. The whole tanking thing, and Jim, you and I have talked about this one as well. It's just such a weird conversation to me. I get that people want Connor Bedard and the whole lack of top-end talent thing. Yeah, that is the biggest problem for the Flyers. But I just don't think deliberate tanking is really the way to anywhere in the NHL. And I think you have to draw a line between investing resources in the future, as in not signing free agents, trading players for draft capital that can be valuable down the line, and doing what the Blackhawks did last year, trading Kirby Dach, who was 22 at the time of the trade, and Alex DeBrincat too. That was tanking, and what certain other teams have done is rebuilding. I think that's what Briere wants to do, and I think I agree with that. Whether they can find that top-end talent picking 7th rather than 1st, where Chicago's picking, that's really the key factor here, and the Flyers are going to need to figure out a way to get around that.
You mentioned drafting 7th. Do you have a favorite of yours in this upcoming draft you're hoping they get?
By the looks of it, most people think that Michkov is going to be off the board now. Danny Briere even said as much a couple of weeks ago that the Flyers would be interested, but maybe he's not there. I know you guys had Russ Cohen on. That was a great episode. He was speaking highly of Will Smith. Yep. So if he falls, I think the Flyers would be looking good there. But it seems like, I guess from 3 on, if you want to say Bedard, Fantilli, and Carlson are the top 3. And then if you get to 4 through 10, it's pretty jumbled, I would say. Mm-hmm. So we don't know how that's going to shake out, but Michkov or Smith would be ideal if either of them does fall.
I wouldn't be mad. So, by now, if you've listened to our shows, Will Smith is a guy for me that I'm like, somebody please take him, because I don't want the Flyers to have to make that decision, right? But Michkov, if Michkov falls, you have to take him. You have to. And who knows what can happen in 2-3 years, whatever. You have to take that chance. You did the right thing. You took best player available by far. You just picked a stud, a future star. If he doesn't come over, you still did the right thing, right? Yeah,
high ceiling, definitely.
Yeah, and what are we talking about, right? We need high-end talent. Well, staring you right in the face. Are you afraid to take it, or are you going to back up all the you're talking about high-end talent for all these years? It's right there. I'm looking forward to this draft, guys. I don't know if you can tell. Just talking about it gets me juiced up. The Flyers are going to get a player. Is there any player in particular, Carl, that you don't want them to pick?
I guess, and a lot of draft talk, I have to admit, is just secondhand.
Yeah.
I'm watching highlights and stuff, but it's very tough to dig into, like hardcore film. But
Yeah.
from what I hear about Dvorsky, it's a kind of a low ceiling, high floor pick, and I think that's exactly what they need to stay away from. Like you're saying, Michkov is the high end talent. Take the risk. I guess Dvorsky is pretty much the opposite of that, and I don't want to see them take that strategy.
It's a great point. It's a great point. And, you know, watching him during the U18 tournament that just passed by. What the hell was the name of that tournament?
World
I can't remember.
Well,
yeah. I mean, he looked phenomenal, but you're right. You keep hearing the same thing. He's a very safe pick. You're going to get a really good player, but there are going to be players around there that have higher floors potentially.
Yeah, I always thought safe pick was a weird way to put it, because if you're looking big picture, there's really no such thing as a safe pick.
Right.
I mean, we heard Nolan Patrick pick, didn't we? Anything but safe.
How do you feel about NP being 3 wins away from a Stanley Cup?
Is he going to ring?
That's what we've been wondering.
We've been wondering that.
I think we decided yes, which would be pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of stuff's changing in the offseason. Flyers recently made some changes in their hockey ops department. What do you think of the significance of that, Colin? Do you think that they're maybe starting to clean house? Like maybe people didn't realize the people that were just let go had more influence than maybe people knew, and they're bringing in their own guys. Riley Armstrong promoted Nick Schultz and Alan McCauley. You like those moves?
Sure. It's tough to get behind the scenes enough to know the daily operations of what these guys are doing. The name that stuck out to me was Shel Samuelson, though.
Yeah.
And he's what I said in the beginning of the show. I do get afraid of the former Flyer thing and people having a job for life and only coming around from your own building. Well, you did just take one step to say that that's not how we're going to run things, because Shel Samuelson's definitely one of the guys that fits into that box. I have not spoken to him personally, but I'm sure you guys know his daughter also. Very nice people. I have a lot of respect for them. So I don't want to say I'm happy to see that he lost his job, but just in the overall business and the landscape of what they're doing, that is the takeaway that I had.
Yeah. And that's kind of how we felt too. It sucks, right? Because somebody that we know, like their parent lost a job, but also grand scheme of things, I'm sure they're going to be okay, right? Like they're very well off, I would imagine. And the Flyers are bringing in new blood to inject into this franchise, which I
think all the new hires are younger than the guys that left the organization.
Yep. I thought that was interesting. And I was listening so Jonesy was on, I think it was 32 Thoughts again today, more so to talk about the Stanley Cup and whatnot, but he had mentioned there are more changes coming. So he was talking about the Flyers as they want to make changes within the organization. He wasn't necessarily talking about the roster. I'm sure there'll be changes there, but he wants the Flyers organization to be a prominent organization. He wants it to be a place where players want to play for again, right? So for me, it sounded like he was talking about as far as nutrition, as far as the medical department, making sure players are healthy, players can play, and things like that. So it sounded like more changes are coming, and he was excited about them, but obviously he couldn't say what they were yet. So yeah, interesting stuff there. Okay, let's get to a couple of juicier topics we have here, Carl. So Tony DeAngelo was benched. I think it was for the last 6 games of the season. Is that correct? 6 games?
I don't remember the number.
Yeah, I was thinking 4 or 5, but same.
Was it 4 or 5? Okay.
Could be wrong.
But I think I read an article last week by our buddy Anthony DeMarco. Flyers could be looking to move Tony DeAngelo. And I want to ask, does it make sense for the Flyers to move him in this offseason? Would you be okay with retaining any money? Or would you kind of like to, maybe a trade deadline move there for Tony D?
I think the move would make sense. He's got 1 year left on his deal. That would be the big factor here. 1 year, $5 million it is.
Yeah.
So if you have a taker that's going to pay that $5 million, I don't think it's good for any organization to do it, to be honest with you. I just don't think DeAngelo performed well enough in the defensive zone last year. I thought he just became too much of a risk taker at certain points on the ice to where he's not worth $5 million. He is a good passer. I know John Tortorella really likes that about him, but I don't think he's worth that $5 million salary. I don't think he has a future past next year anyway. So if you could move him and you can get some draft capital, some prospects that fits more in the line with what they're trying to do in the rebuild, then yeah, I think it would be a good idea.
I tell you what, if Chuck Fletcher's not like on in Tony DeAngelo's favorites, like on his phone, like he should be, because he did that man a favor with that $10 million, dude, over 2 years. Like, come on. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure that out myself. And we were kind of talking before the show. We were wondering, I mean, Trav can absolutely confirm, but I was thinking, all right, well, I don't think the Flyers so much want to trade DeAngelo as much as it is, DeAngelo might not want to be here. And Trav, I don't know if you want to mention on the air what you mentioned before the show. Is that something that you wanted to talk?
No, we'll keep that behind.
Keep that in the back pocket. All right. So, there could be something there. There could not be. But for the Flyers, I thought it would make more sense to do at the trade deadline than it would be during the summer. But after thinking it over a little bit, it's a $5 million deal. It's 1 year left. Why not retain half that contract? Now somebody's getting Tony DeAngelo for 2.5, and he would be the perfect third pair guy that can play on your PP1 on a good team, or you pair him up with a skilled defensive defenseman on your second pair or something like that. For $2.5 million, that's a pretty good deal for DeAngelo, I would imagine. And you would assume that they could get something back for Tony D at 2.5. How realistic that is, I don't know. If there is something going on with Tony DeAngelo, I think he's a fool for, how many chances is he going to get in the NHL? Going from organization to organization, doing what he's doing, So I don't know. Could be something there. Yeah, sorry. My dog just farted over here and I can't breathe. It's fucking terrible. All right. So Stanley Cup, Kyle. 1-0 Vegas. I think they scored first tonight too. Is that what I saw on my phone?
Yep.
Marchessault again.
Yeah.
So you know what I saw the other day? Marchessault and didn't what the hell is his name? Riley Smith. Didn't he score the other night too? Riley Smith. You guys remember that?
Did he have a goal? I don't know.
I thought I saw a stat, but both of those guys played for the Panthers the year before Vegas was a thing. And then GM of the Panthers at the time made a deal with the Vegas GM. It said, we'll give you Riley Smith if you don't take Alex Petrovic. So they ended up getting Smith in that deal, and then they drafted Marchessault. And so they have two Florida Panthers playing against the Panthers in the Stanley Cup. I thought that was pretty cool. Maybe it's not as cool as to you guys, but I thought it was cool. Who do you got in the Cup final, Kyle?
I want Florida, but I'm thinking Vegas might just be too overpowering. If you look back at the 2010 Flyers being a good example, but also Nashville in 2017, the Oilers in 2006, a lot of these miracle runs, these teams run into a more talented team in the final. And I think that's what's going to happen to Florida. As an 8 seed, they've really gotten hot, but I think the clock might strike midnight.
I like how you did that. The Cinderella story is going to be over, huh?
Martinez just made it 2-zip.
Oh, my God. Jack, it's going to happen. So Jack had the fun stat. You back, Jack? Go ahead.
I guess we'll see how long it lasts. Yeah, no, if they win, they'll be the fastest expansion team since the Flyers to win a cup. And the fact that I can't stand their fans really grinds my gears.
I'm a total hockey snob about it, too. It's what do people in the desert know about hockey, all of that. I finally wrap my head around taking the Tampa Bay Lightning seriously, I don't know, 5 years ago. And right after I did that, it's like, oh, now Vegas is good. Come on.
Yeah, Vegas. You got the friggin' Panthers.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of feel like that. And I know there's a crowd out there that says, "Oh no, that's silly," but I think I'm dug in. I'll be a snob about it. Yeah, I don't want Vegas to win a cup because they've only been in the league for 6 years. You know, it's not that I want them to suffer. It's just I don't want you to win. You know,
God forbid you bring up the fact that the new expansion rules significantly help the teams more than they used to. God forbid you bring that up. They really lose their minds. You can tell they weren't really watching hockey when those expansion teams came into the league. All right, I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done.
Yeah, I think we're all right there with you, Colin. We're rooting for Florida here. Jack wanted a sweep. Now he's at 4-1. But yeah, Vegas up 2-0 tonight. That's going to be a tough comeback. They look like they're all business, right?
Vegas, yeah.
Yeah, which
especially I think Eichel's on fire, and I think Marchessault is 10 in 11 games.
Yeah, that's insane.
He's one of them peaks and valley players. Once he gets going and he's into the game, he's elite. Just too many valleys in his game.
This is the time to get hot, man.
Yeah.
All you got to do is get hot once, right? For the playoffs. We're seeing it Bobrovsky with Florida. I'm wondering if he's starting to cool off now. He let in a goal the other night. I was kind of I wonder if he's off his game, right? He probably should have had one of those. But yeah, it'd be a shame, not just because Vegas would win, but Florida's had a hell of a playoffs, man. They've slayed some giants with Boston, Toronto. I mean, I love what they did to Toronto. How do you feel about that, Colin, with Toronto? Do you want to see them get past the first round?
I kind of did. I just kind of sitting back with the entertainment value there. The Leafs drama, I've always compared it to the Eagles, just with how crazy people go around here. So whatever happens, people are going to go wild about the Eagles. Yeah. I feel like the Leafs are the hockey version of that. And that probably was the most chaotic outcome because even though they got the monkey off their back, it didn't really result in much. And Dubas is gone anyway, and they're still pretty much in the exact same spot.
Yeah, that's true. We talked about Dubas earlier in the show. Do you like that hire for Pitt?
I guess so, but I think Pittsburgh is just in a terrible spot right now. And even I hate to stick up for Ron Hextall, but I don't understand what he was supposed to do because supposedly it was ownership that wanted to keep all the veterans, Crosby, Malkin, and Letang, and get these long-term contracts. And then when it doesn't work out, they fired Hextall. So, I mean, any new GM is going to walk into a bad situation there. I don't know how you get out of it.
Yep.
Well, that's true because as much as we dislike Hextall and we give him a lot of shit for what he did here, that's extremely true. I remember thinking back to last offseason, Hextall, I don't think wanted to sign those guys. Or if he did, he wasn't going to give them the term and he wasn't going to give them the money. And fans were all up in arms. How can he not sign Malkin or Letang? He's breaking up the band. I even read that Crosby was pissed off and maybe he went and talked to him. I can't remember exactly. But I'm like, okay, well, yeah, this is going to be good. I hope that they sign these guys long-term. They're 35. I think Letang signed a 7 or 8 year deal. So it was interesting to see how this season played out because I remembered fans calling for that last summer. this season came, and midway through the season, Pittsburgh fans, oh, fire Hextall, yada, yada, he stinks. And it's true, he does, but you're getting what you asked for here, you know? So
I'm not a Hextall guy, but I actually think he did a better job than what people give him credit for in Pitt.
How so?
I liked the Ricard deal. The Jeff Carter trade worked out. I mean, Cartsy had a bad year this year, so maybe the extension didn't work. But that trade, I mean, Cartsy scored a lot of goals his first 2 years there. And like you said, he didn't want to bring back Malkin from what it sounds like. It sounds like he wanted to bring back Letang, but not on a 7-year deal. Sounds like he was kind of forced to acquire Mikael Granlund. Like, I'm not saying he did a great job. I don't even know if he did a good job, but I don't think he was as terrible as like some people think.
You think he gets another job anytime soon? Or you think that's it?
I don't know.
He was basically the fall guy in Pitt. Like he was the actual guy that destroyed. I mean, he did whatever he did here, but it seems like he was more so the fall guy in Pittsburgh. Like, he's a Flyer. Let's blame it all on him, kind of thing, you know. So interesting stuff. All right, Carl, we've had you in for about a half an hour here. What are you up to these days?
Just working, trying to get on the grind in sports media and anything that I can. Just pick things up with the Fanatic, any other of the radio stations in the Philadelphia area. Basically, if anything's on the radio, I'm trying to put it into some kind of digital format, whether it's an article, a podcast, whatever it might be. So anything to do with 97.5 The Fanatic, that's what I try to pick up and run with. And then with the Hockey Writers, I have some draft content coming out, and then my weekly column is Flyers News and Rumors. And that obviously picks up around the time of the draft and free agency when there's going to be more news. But that runs every Friday throughout the entire calendar.
Well, we know you're a busy guy. So we really appreciate you hopping on with us, taking the time.
I appreciate you having me.
So where can people find you on Twitter? Obviously, they can find your work at 97.5 and the Hockey Writers. But where can people find you on social media?
For Twitter, it's at New Beginnings, TONEWBYGINNINGS. Tough one to spell, but that's what I've always used. And then if you want to follow my Facebook page, that's just kind of a personal writing thing I have for any sports writing that I do. You can find that just my name, Colin Newby, on Facebook.
Awesome stuff, Colin. And once again, thanks for taking the time. We're going to let you sign off.
All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.
Talk again soon, man. Take care.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Colin Newby, everybody. I love talking to Colin. He's one of the best guys up in the press row. Yeah. Always good conversation. So, all right, boys. End of the show. Who's got a pack ready?
Dude.
Do you got one?
I got a tin.
Holy cow. I seen those. I'm like, I'm not worthy.
Holy shit. Where did you find that thing? It's a mammoth.
Found it at Walmart today. I don't even know how many packs are in here.
Were you looking for it, or you just were like, holy shit?
I just wanted some packs, and this kind of, made my eyes
screamed out to him.
Yeah. I don't know how many packs are in here. It says a bonus pack's included.
Well, crack that bad boy open. Let's go here.
All right, let's go.
I'm excited.
You should open all
Slide this off. All right.
That's Upper Deck.
Yep, Series 2, 2022-23. Oh, we're looking good.
While Travis is opening that, Travis, you want me to give everybody the bad news?
Let's hear it.
No hitter was broken up.
Oh, yeah. Nick Maton, the Wolfman.
Yeah, he was back. Like 105 pitches. I was like, I don't think it's happening. Got 2 guys on from an error and a walk, I believe. And
yeah.
Wasn't happening.
Nola sucks.
Oh, here we go. Big baseball guy, Jim.
Hey, I got Roy Halladay and Carlos Ruiz over here from his perfect game hanging up on the other wall.
You guys
happened during game 1 of the Stanley Cup, Flyers Blackhawks.
I remember what we're working with tonight.
What is that, like 10 packs?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Holy shit.
9. What is that? 9. Come on. That's amazing.
Are you guys opening up packs too? You got some?
I
I'll
got
do
some.
one.
How about you, Jim?
Yeah, I'll do one.
Yeah, right. You can't do ones. They're
Yeah,
like
you're not doing
freaking
one.
Pringles. There's no
I'll do
way.
one.
I'm opening up this bonus pack first. OPG Glossy, it says.
Whoa.
I don't really think you get
OPG
anything
in
too
an upper
good out of
deck?
it.
I don't know what any of this means, but it sounds good.
Shane Wright, Dylan Holloway, and another
What?
Dylan Holloway. They're not young guns. I don't think they're really worth anything special.
Huh.
We're hoping for some young guns. Maybe a Matt Boldy, Owen
Ooh, that'd be
Power, maybe.
great, especially after how he was this year. Oh my goodness.
Opening up Series 2. I should look.
They went
at-
in the same draft?
Who?
Power
Boldy?
and Boldy?
I don't remember.
No, Power was like 2 years later.
I was going to say.
Boldy
They're
was in the
the
York
guys
draft.
in Series 2.
Boldy
Or
was in
no,
the
I'm wrong.
Caulfield York draft.
Yeah. He just signed a massive deal, too.
I
Oh,
know.
we didn't even talk about Caulfield.
I don't want to.
Let's talk about
All
it.
right.
While we're opening, could have been our guy. Yeah.
That's
All
who
right,
Jack's going to open.
Alex Petrangelo, Thomas Hurdle, Quentin Byfield, Vince Dunn.
Quentin Byfield? Is that a young gun?
It is not.
What year is
Wow.
this again?
This is 22-23 Series 2.
Okay.
Tyson Berry, Kevin Shattenkirk, Alex Carrier, and a World Junior grad, Lucas Raymond. I've never seen one of these before.
That's interesting.
That's a cool card.
Yeah.
Check that
Well,
out.
junior grade. Yeah,
Look
put that
one
bad
up.
boy to the side.
Curious. Oh, while whoever's opening the next one, I'll just run through my basic
Okay.
pack. Jonathan Quick, Sorokin, Niederreiter. I got a young gun.
Uh-oh.
It's another Flyers young gun.
Oh, shit.
You know it's not good.
What,
Give us-
what
give
year?
us
What
hints.
year?
This is 21, 22, but you'll never get it.
Oh,
Really?
I'll give you each 3 guesses. You'll never get it.
All right, give us position.
Forward.
Oh, shit.
Lazinski.
That didn't
Good
really
guess,
do
but
much.
no.
All right, one more hint.
He was good with the Phantoms.
No, I know who it is. I can't think of his name.
21.
Did he start? I know who it is. He started with the team this year, and they sent him down. I think
Perhaps.
Fletcher really liked him. What was that freaking guy's name?
Hayden Hodgson? I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Was that him?
Nope.
All right, that was
I
my
think
guess.
I think he
You
might
wouldn't
be in
think young gun when you think of this player. You'd
He's
be like,
old?
yeah,
Yeah, that was my guess. Hayden Hodgson.
not like, yeah. He's
One more hint. One more hint.
It's tough because I don't know when the hell who drafted.
Cal
him.
O'Reilly.
No.
Max Willman.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh man,
That's my friggin' young gun. Are you kidding me?
forgot about him.
Goes right up there with Jackson Cake.
He's got a beautiful wife.
Oh really?
Yeah.
and Braden Point, Hintz, and Ovechkin to finish it off. Well, I got a young gun. I can't complain too much.
And Flyers won at that.
Right there you go.
I'm loading up. They're going to be good.
Jackson Cates and Max Willman. That's how you know you're bad, when those are the young guns from that year.
They're going to be good, guys. They're going to be good.
All right, Braden Shen, Tom Wilson, Rupe Hintz, Superstar Honor Roll,
Never get this shit.
Samuel Fagmo. I don't know who that is.
Fajimo
Fajimo,
is in Carolina or
L.A.
LA, yeah.
Montour, Rantanen, Chikrin, and Barbanov. Nothing there.
Where's yours?
I got 2 packs left. I'm afraid to open them.
And then you have to buy more. I felt
I
like you
gotta
bought
buy
like
more.
a truckload.
I
I'm
did, yeah, I
looking-
did.
I'm looking for Slavkovsky, Shane Wright, Brant Clark,
Yep.
Juracek.
I want a Brent Clark. I think he's going to be good.
So do I.
Oh, first
Have
card,
the
Carter Hart.
Oh, got a hack, got a
That's a
hack.
nice looking card.
I'll give this
Carter
away to the
Hart.
first person that comments.
Oh,
Nice card.
Actually, let me make sure that I actually don't have this one first.
You don't
'Cause
have
this-
it.
It,
I mean, you
does,
have
it
it.
is a nice looking card. All right.
Yeah.
Yanni Gourde. Michael Granlund. That's funny.
Yeah.
We just
As a
talked about him,
Penguin?
right?
Just kidding.
Yeah, Brian Rust, the Penguin, right after him. That's funny.
Oh, foreshadowing.
Duncan Keith, Jeff Petrie, another Penguin. Remember when we were thinking he was going to get traded to the Flyers?
Yep. I remember that.
Thank God he didn't. That's another Hextall move there,
We were
too.
supposed to get
Yeah.
him and Gaudreau.
Tom Wilson
Great.
and Robert Thomas.
The more I think about it, Hextall was actually pretty bad over there.
Towards the
Tight.
end, they
You keep
ramp
bringing
it
up
how
these
bad
different
they get.
moves.
Yeah, well,
I got Ross the Boss, McKinnon, Rasmussen, Jack Hughes, Young Guns, Ethan Prowl on the Sabres. Not looking good. Peyton Krebs, that was the guy I wanted in that year's draft.
I liked him. I remember he was hurt, but I still liked him a lot.
He's playing on their fourth line right now, Krebs. He's on my friggin' dynasty team.
He went in the Eichel deal.
Yeah.
Hasn't
Sure
really
did.
worked out yet for him.
No. Sure did.
Am I the
All
only
right.
one still ripping?
No, I'm ready. I got
Cool.
Romanoff, Ricard Raquel, Casey Middlestat. I have something I've never seen before. This is a UD portrait. Oh, geez. Where are we supposed to get this guy in the Giroux trade? He was one of them.
Mackey? Who is that?
This is
The Colorado center. What was his name?
no. This is Denisenko from Florida.
From Florida. I think that there was a rumor that we were going to get him over Tippett or something. So maybe.
I think we wanted him with him, and because
That's right.
Fletcher.
Fletcher?
We're gonna have to look that one up. Not Fletcher. Giroux and Fletcher. I don't know.
Brett Flair?
No.
Shell Samuelson?
Yes.
Yeah,
Pareto,
Trav.
Tanev.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Not much left. Yeah, I thought that one up. That one's interesting.
Elias Lindholm. Eric Robinson, local kid.
Gloucester Catholic.
Philip Tomasino. Got a lunchbox legend, Jason Robertson.
Nice. It's a cool
Legend.
Cool looking card.
Never seen one of them before. Backlund, Scotty Lotz.
There
My
you go.
guy, Artemi Panarin.
Get that autographed.
Right, facts.
Yeah.
Lunchbox legend and a Buddy Robinson card.
Yeah, Buddy Holly card.
It's my alma mater he went to. He went to so did Gaudreau. They knew me.
Did you say
Yeah.
so did Gaudreau?
So did Gaudreau, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me make
Johnny
sure.
Jesus.
All right, here we go. Last pack for Jim.
Let's get it. Come on.
Come on, Iacovone.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. A lot of Pittsburgh cards in here. Sidney Crosby.
Oh, you might as well throw that right down the toilet.
Danny DeKeyser. The Kaiser.
Whole pack.
Matthias Ekholm. It's not going to be a young gun pack.
Well, it's poison.
Mark
You see the
Stahl.
first card?
UD portrait, John Tavares.
That's cute.
You put that in your bed.
Can you see through this?
No, I can't
I
see
got a
through. I see a
reflection on your
reflection of the screen.
Huh.
Can see me waving.
All right. The rest of the cards are going to be junk. Bobby Ryan. He's from Cherry Hill. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that when he was drafted right after Crosby. Right after Crosby again.
William Nylander in the St. Pat's
Ooh.
jersey, so that's cool.
They're
Hey,
sick.
it might be closer to the jersey he's wearing next year.
Marcus Foligno,
Marcus Foligno.
and Sidney Crosby.
Sick.
Again?
Nah, that was the last card. I read it first.
Ooh, that was
I had
rough.
2 Sydneys. Yeah, that's it. That was my last pack too. I didn't get.
Oh,
I was looking for a Jack Hughes, and I'm through 2. I'm through 2 packs like this. No Jack Hughes.
oh man.
$100 a piece.
$100.
Yeah,
How many
Just-
cards, how many packs came in that?
a lot.
A lot.
They got
hope so.
Varlamov, Dumba, Puljujarvi, Reamer, JVR, Jacob Perreault, Ivan Provorov.
Oh, Ivan the. Never mind.
Whoa. Ivan soon to be gonerov. And Johnny T, John Tavares. I got 3 packs left, man. I can't
I
be
got a
going all
mega
by
pack.
myself.
I
There we
gotta
go.
open the mega
Fat pack. Let's get it.
These are all my double cards.
Oh,
I probably only put like 10 cards in my book from that $100 pack.
Sounds about.
you got
right.
to switch up the project or product. Get series 2 or get a different year or something.
I did that. I grabbed from a different, changed up the year a bit.
Yeah.
All right.
But I'm
There's
going-
a
I'm
lot
looking
of
for
cards
Hughes, though.
here. A lot of
Okay.
cards here. Krug, Lowry, Larson, Josh Norris, Lindholm. That's Hampus.
Hampus.
Yeah. Riley Smith. Oh, would you look at that? Now it's upside down because there's so many damn cards.
Hampus to Krampus.
Adam Fox, but it's a normal one.
Oh,
Ah,
Everlay, Nate Schmidt, Ryan O'Reilly, Trevor Zegras. That's a nice looking card, but I don't think it's a special one.
wait.
not
When
a
was
young
he
gun?
drafted? Was he drafted in the Caulfield draft?
He was. I thought he was. Yeah, he was like 7th.
I feel like that should be a young gun. A young gun. It's
Who
not.
do I write?
Show the card. Let's see it.
Can you go up a little bit?
Sure.
Huh.
Yeah, you're opening cards from this year.
Am I?
Oh.
He's
That's
got
a
the
mega
20.
pack. Yeah.
Oh shit.
So you got to change it up so you can get screwed. Mark Giordano, Tolvin. Nice looking Seth Jarvis card. I got a Dazzler. Ben
Oh.
Myers. Is that a joke?
Where's Phil Myers?
Fred Myers. Remember
Nick
Freddie Myers?
Suzuki, Charlie McAvoy, Jake McCabe, Mark Mikael Granlund, Chris Letang, Trevor Lewis, Aaron Ekblad. I got one of those checklists. Hey, cool. I need one of those, right? Bergeron, Jaden Swartz, Patterson, running low here, Forsberg, and Kucherov. Oh, miss, swing and a miss on the big pack.
All right, I got three
Wow.
more. Quickie, Garland, Checklist, Patrice. Welcome to Tampa Bay. just give me a young gun, man. I've only got one. Riley
Yeah.
Smith. Not looking great here. Am I going? Anyone else going?
No,
I'm
okay.
out.
All right. Patrick Line. I got that card last week. Coleman, Danton Heinen. I got a Dazzler, Frederick Karlstrom, Torrey
There's another
Krug, Adam
Strom
Lowry, Adam Larson, Josh Norris. Another flop.
Yeah, that wasn't too good. I mean, I got some. Well, you know what? This one's interesting looking. This, well, he's not worth it, damn, right now, but it looks cool.
Who
Anybody
is
get
it?
anything worth looking up?
No.
Not yet.
This Denisenko one is probably worth dick, but I don't know. Look at the back. The back looks too cool for it to not be worth like. It's all this gold, and it's like a black and white picture. Like, come on, it's got.
Is it a young gun portrait?
It says rookies. It says UD portrait. UD portrait with the word rookies
Huh.
on it as well.
I got a Trent Frederick
Yeah.
young gun portrait.
I want to know if the brand of the card is worth a damn.
Google her.
Yeah. We'll look it up. All right. I got Josh Anderson, Seth Jones, Taylor Hall, Jared Spurgeon. Got a young gun. Never even heard of this guy. Kevin Mandolese.
Oh, dude, he's goalie for Ottawa,
Yeah.
right?
One of their million goalies this year.
I think he played. Yeah, he played a little bit this year.
Once Murray went,
Oh wow, they put out cards that fast.
what you gotta do? I'm sure there's an Alex
Series
Lyon
2,
card
baby.
we're just trying to get.
So I don't think he played until very late in the year.
I got a Sandstrom card.
Do you?
I got a Nustamenko.
yeah,
Remember him?
yeah. I liked him for a little bit. Just a
All right, that's it from me.
All right,
Man,
gentlemen,
what a
we
dud of a
stock,
night.
we load.
Yeah, it sucked.
I want to get Jim's mega box and Travis's tin.
All right. We're gonna put Upper Deck out of business.
I'm going to get at least one good card. Besides,
I feel
my
like we
thing.
we should at least have a sponsorship by this point from Upper Deck.
easily.
Yeah,
easily.
Like, hey,
reach
like
out
we're
to them.
free advertising every show here, and we're spending hundreds of dollars on your
Which we
stupid
shouldn't
cards.
be. We shouldn't be.
No, we shouldn't be.
They should be getting sent to us.
Yes. There you go. Yeah,
We can do Manscaped. We can do Upper Deck. Come on.
I would agree.
Move it
I would
on up.
agree. I'll get in contact with their PR right
What
after
was
the
that
show.
portrait you got, Jack? I'll look it up.
All right. It's a UD portrait, Denisenko, Florida, and it says rookies on it. And it's from 2022-23 Series 2.
All right.
My ducks.
Da-da-da. What's the number on the back?
Ooh. P57.
Say it's something cool, Travis, even if it's not.
I'm not finding anything.
That's good. That's always a good sign. And if the player needs to be good, that's part 2. But we have time.
Did the Panthers just? Did the Knights just score again?
Front door.
57 cents.
Damn it!
Damn it!
So is there
Big
a
flop.
chance if he's good? Well, 57
Alright.
cents for Rooney's.
Hang on, let me look up my John Tavares then. Never mind.
Johnny T?
Didn't come up anywhere. I googled John Tavares upper deck portrait.
And you looked up well, this is Ben Myers. This ain't worth shit.
All right, boys.
Wait,
Should we wrap it up this week?
Wait, look up my Maxwell Woolman.
Maxwell Willman.
I guess
Over
I gotta
under
look up
10
his
cents.
girlfriend or something.
Over under a dime.
Max Willman. Upper deck. Young gun. I put in Max, not Willman.
Maxwell, as in it will sell well.
Maximilian.
It better be
Maxime
worth $1 million.
Talbot.
497's the card number. That can't be good. There's no letter. That's can't be good.
Hang on, didn't work right there. 497, you said?
Yep.
Here we go. Loading.
Young
Loading.
Gun. Young gun.
Taking a while, so you know it's good.
Young gun.
I think it froze.
You broke
Damn.
it. You broke it.
$5.
Are
Wow.
you out of your mind? Sell.
Someone's
Who
got
wants
it on
this?
eBay for $5.
Who wants this? You want it? Guys, don't both private message me at once.
You can buy almost a pack of cards with that.
I'm buying new
Make your money
internet
back.
with that. We'll get a brand new internet in here real quick.
Hey, sound good right now.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, what the-
Perfect.
what the
Right when
hell?
we're about to wrap up.
We're still alive, right? We have to let this baby warm up.
Yeah, right.
Maybe that's what it is.
I need a fluffer.
There's upper deck portrait. Let me see how much this bad boy is. And it's taking forever again, so I'll click this site.
And I think we looked up Dazzlers before because I had a Byfield Dazzler and I don't think they were worth shit.
Yeah, I
Did
think
you
it all
put-
depends what color you get.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, the
certain,
one I had is like green or blue or something. It's like cartoonish.
certain colors are more rare than the other.
They know what they're doing, these fucking card people.
Yeah. They make you know your shit.
Yeah, right? Thank God you can like just look it up. You don't have to go get a book somewhere.
Yeah.
You know.
Only Tavares as an Islander is coming up for some reason. This is not cool.
They're usually not worth too much unless it's a young gun or something.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. Although my dad had a really cool Dominic Hasek looking card back in the day.
All
Are
right.
any of those cards worth a damn?
Probably just in our minds.
I think you're right. I think it's like they sell it to us and we think it's worth something. You find out it's worth nothing.
Yeah, right.
It's becoming like gambling. 57 cents for Tavares.
Yeah. Oh, it's the same. He's
Yeah.
worth just as much as this guy.
Like we're looking for the big money card, and then we just don't
Max
get it.
Woolman,
And it's like
$5,
we got to open
man.
more.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got to start my own eBay or something. $5.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they have to come pick it up at the house, though. I can't mail it.
That's your gas money. You'll just be spending the money right back on gas.
Exactly. Well, we'll figure that out.
Yeah. All right. We wrap this one up, boys. I'm going to have to buy new cards for next week. I'm out. Fresh out.
I think somebody's going to answer a trivia question and they're going to win a Max Willman card.
Oh, there you go, Jack. That's
Yeah.
fun. So we'll
Wouldn't that
start
be
up.
exciting? That's
What
what
should
you
we-
get.
What do you want to call the new segment? Well, we won't tell them who they're going to win. They'll just be surprised with it, and they'll be just as disappointed as we were.
I mean, I think it's
That's
genius.
gold.
So we'll think of this new name. We're going to do it beat the hammer style, where it's you get 60 seconds to answer 5 questions, and if you win, maybe you get a Max Woolman Young Gun card, or maybe something cooler. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll put something together and we'll implement it during the course of the summer when things kind of slow down a little bit. I mean, this week would have been good, but we had Colin on. So when we don't have a guest and when things slow down, we'll play. I don't know, beat the Yackle or whatever we end up calling this game. So, all right, we'll wrap this one up. You guys have anything you want to promote before we end this show here. I
Go
think I
watch
always,
my YouTube videos, for crying out loud.
Yeah, you put a couple good ones out. What were they, Trav? Where can they find them at?
YouTube.com/Travie Ballin, TravieBallin. I made a Travis Konechny little highlight tape with some music, some special effects, and then I did a Sky Lawton compilation of all his little breakaway
Paralyzer.
move, the paralyzer. Go fake forehand, go backhand 5-hole.
It is pretty too. Yeah, I
Yep.
watched a little bit of that one. You do a great job. So yeah, go check out Travis' stuff on his YouTube. And yeah, we'll wrap this episode up. So one last time, boys and girls, give us a subscribe, follow, and listen. Only on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. I mean, if you don't use those, that's fine. But if you want to give us a hand, listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Make sure to set your alerts so you're reminded to watch us every week. And don't forget to head over to hwhockey.net. You can find all of our social media links at hoo.be/HWHockey. And as always, thanks for hanging out. We'll be back probably next Monday. Get outside, enjoy the weather, take your vitamins, drink your green stuff, and we'll talk to you next week.